In 2000, the film Love and Basketball depicted first love, burning desires, and seemingly unbreakable dreams. But 26 years later, time has rewritten every story. From mysterious illnesses and sudden losses to unexpected fame, their true stories are even more shocking than the film itself. Let's explore what really happened after the camera stopped working. Sanaa Lathan as Monica Wright. Sanaa Lathan was born on September 19, 1971, in New York City, USA. At the age of 29, she played Monica Wright, a determined basketball player who fought for respect, equality, and love in both love and basketball. This role added emotional depth to the film, transforming a sports romance into a serious work that analyzes ambition, gender barriers, and personal sacrifice. That emotional control was developed early on. After her parents, director Stan Lathan and actress Eleanor McCoy, separated, Sanaa grew up independent in a family with an artistic tradition, but one riddled with cracks. This discipline stayed with her throughout the early years of her career as she transitioned from television to films like Blade and The Best Man, where she learned how to hold her own in a cast of strong personalities. As her fame grew, the limitations of the film industry became more apparent. Despite her accolades, Sanaa consistently faced limited opportunities for women of color, forcing her to experiment with a variety of genres and media. Her performances in the play Brown Sugar and subsequent Broadway productions demonstrated her versatile acting abilities. While behind the scenes, she quietly prepared for long-term creative control rather than fleeting fame. Her personal life was under constant scrutiny. Sanaa once dated her boyfriend and basketball teammate Omar Epps, but that relationship ended. She has never married and has no children, a choice that sparked much speculation but ultimately reinforced her focus on career stability and creative independence rather than conventional milestones. Now 55, Sanaa Lathan remains active as an actress, director, and voice actress. With an estimated net worth of $5 million, her story reflects control and sustainability, built through deliberate choices, not compromises. Omar Epps as Quincy McCall. Omar Epps was born on July 20, 1973, in Brooklyn, New York, USA. At the age of 27, he played Quincy McCall, a talented but emotionally conflicted basketball prodigy pursuing a future in the NBA, both in love and basketball. His performance brought dynamism to the film, portraying the tension between talent, ego, and emotional immaturity. That tension reflects his formative years, raised by his mother, Bonnie Maria Epps. After his father left, Omar grew up in Brooklyn and learned to be independent from an early age. He channeled that pressure into creative endeavors, leading to groundbreaking roles in the juice industry and higher education, where his intensity and vulnerability became defining characteristics rather than weaknesses. As his career matured, Omar transitioned from film to television, where a long-term career demands discipline. His role as Dr. Eric Foreman in House M.D. marked a turning point, transforming him from an inexperienced lead actor into a respected dramatic performer. This shift brought stability, but also placed the pressure on him to maintain his performance to meet public expectations. In his personal life, the initial instability gradually gave way to stability. After his relationship with Sanaa Lathan ended, Omar married singer Keisha Spivey in 2006. Together, they raised 2 children, and Omar also became a devoted father to his daughter from a previous relationship, redefining himself around responsibility rather than ambition. Omar Epps is now 53 years old and continues to be active in acting, producing, and writing. With an estimated net worth of $10 million, his life reflects a solid foundation built on perseverance, devotion to his family, and a career that has learned to endure. Alfre Woodard as Camille Wright. Alfre Woodard was born on November 8, 1952, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, USA. At age 48, she played Camille Wright, Monica's traditional yet emotionally conflicted mother in the film Love and Basketball. Her performance added to the generational tension in the film, highlighting the parental pressure, sacrifice, and unspoken disappointment that shaped Monica's choices. That self-restraint was honed from a very young age. Growing up in a working-class Oklahoma family, with an interior designer father and a stay-at-home mother, Alfre experienced racial discrimination, which subtly narrowed expectations for her. These pressures drove her to the stage, where discipline and skill mattered more than fame, and her early stage roles quickly transformed into film roles of moral and authority, signaling a clear shift from making a living to pursuing her purpose in life. As her career developed, so did her influence. Films like Cross Creek and later Passion Fish showcased her ability to convey power without ostentation, while television work brought both recognition and exhaustion. Even as awards piled up, age discrimination and gender bias reduced the number of leading roles offered, forcing her to adapt rather than retreat. At home, stability came with responsibility. Alfre married writer Roderick Spencer in 1983, and together they raised 2 children, Mavis and Duncan. Their marriage spanned decades of busy schedules and periods of separation, demanding a constant balance between professional ambitions and family life. Today, Alfre Woodard is 74 and remains a performing artist, producer, and active activist, widely regarded as a Hollywood veteran. With an estimated net worth of around $8 million, her legacy is based on longevity, dignity, and the ability to maintain influence without abandoning her principles. Dennis Haysbert as Zeke McCall. Dennis Haysbert was born on June 2, 1954, in San Mateo, California, USA. At the age of 46, he played Zeke McCall, Quincy's strict and pragmatic father, in the film Love and Basketball. His role embodies generational pressure, portraying ambition as a form of discipline rather than emotion, and deepens Quincy's internal conflict. That authoritative presence stems from his cramped upbringing. Growing up in a large family with 9 children, a security guard father, and a housewife mother, Dennis learned early on how to get attention. His height and race attracted unwanted attention, pushing him toward acting as a controlled escape, first on television and then in films that championed authority and composure. Professional recognition came gradually. Roles in Major League and later 24 transformed him into an icon of strength and reliability, but success also had its limits. He was often cast in authoritative roles, a persona that secured him a stable career but also subtly limited his acting potential, even though audiences had instinctively come to trust his presence. His personal life reflected similar shifts. Dennis married Elena Sims in 1980, a marriage that ended in divorce in 1984. He later married Lynn Griffith in 1989, and they had 2 children, Charles and Catherine, before divorcing in 2001. Each stage of his life marked a readjustment between work demands and family responsibilities. Now 72 years old, Dennis Haysbert continues to work in film, television, voiceover, and production. With an estimated net worth of around $20 million, his life reflects a power built on perseverance, not on innovation, but on consistency that audiences have never ceased to believe in. Debbie Morgan as Nona McCall. Debbie Morgan was born on September 20, 1956, in Dunn, North Carolina, USA. At age 44, she played Nona McCall, Quincy's calm but silently burdened mother in Love and Basketball. Her performance provided a foundation for the film, giving Quincy a sense of family warmth even amidst the turmoil of the outside world. That kind of calm strength is not easily acquired. Growing up in a constantly moving and turbulent family environment due to her abusive, alcoholic father, Debbie learned early on how to remain calm under pressure. Those experiences subtly reflected in her early screen roles, including emotionally restrained performances in Roots, The Next Generations, and appearances on Good Times, where she conveyed pain without ostentation. That emotional discipline helped her go further. Years later, television audiences embraced her role as Angie Baxter Hubbard in All My Children, a role that made history and earned her an Emmy Award for daytime television. When she entered the world of film, Eve's Bayou revealed a different side of her. Mysterious, vulnerable, and profoundly human, proving she could command the screen far beyond daytime television. Her private life also experienced its own ups and downs. Debbie married Charles Weldon in 1980, then actor Charles S. Dutton in 1989, followed by photographer Don Thompson in 1997. Each marriage ended quietly, without children, and each ending pushed her further inward rather than outward. Stability finally came with her marriage to Jeffrey Winston in 2009, marking a more peaceful chapter after decades of turmoil. Debbie Morgan is now 70 years old and remains actively involved in film and television. With an estimated net worth of $12.5 million, her legacy is built on perseverance, a strength that never demanded attention, but always earned respect. Gabrielle Union as Shawnee. Gabrielle Union was born on October 29, 1972, in Omaha, Nebraska, USA. At the age of 28, she played Shawnee, Quincy's charming and confident girlfriend, in the series Love and Basketball. The role reflects the allure of status and image, subtly contrasting with the deep emotional connection at the heart of the story. That self-confidence is built on survival. Her parents' divorce and constant witnessing of violence forced Gabrielle to grow up wary and cautious, learning to observe situations and protect herself from a very young age. Around the same time, she began appearing in television sitcoms and her first film roles, laying the groundwork for her rapid rise to fame. Recognition came quickly. The film Bring It On transformed her into a pop culture icon and earned her an NAACP Image Award, while films like Bad Boys 2 and Deliver Us from Eva solidified her position on screen. Behind that career success, she also faced abuse in the industry, later speaking out publicly about being sexually harassed, which left lasting psychological scars. Her personal life was equally public. She married NFL player Chris Howard in 2001, a relationship she later described as hasty and emotionally damaging, which ended in divorce in 2006. Years later, love returned in a different form when she began dating NBA star Dwyane Wade, whose emotional openness reshaped how she understood partnership. They married in 2014 and in 2018 welcomed their daughter Kavya James Union Wade via surrogacy. Now 54, Gabrielle Union balances acting, writing, and social activism with an estimated net worth of $40 million, a career built not only on fame but also on her frankness and resilience. Regina Hall as Lena Wright. Regina Hall was born on December 12, 1970, in Washington, D.C., USA. At age 30, she played Lena Wright, Monica's practical and insightful older sister, in the series Love and Basketball. This role provided emotional balance, making Monica's intensity seem more authentic. Her perspective was shaped by loss. While studying journalism at New York University, Regina's father died suddenly of a stroke, an event that abruptly changed the course of her life. Acting came to her not long after, with her first roles in The Best Man and supporting roles on television, gradually leading her into an industry she had never intended to enter. The comedy genre changed everything. Scary Movie introduced her bold acting abilities to a mainstream audience and earned her an MTV Movie Award, but she refused to be typecast into one genre. Her dramatic roles in projects like Law Abiding Citizen and later Support the Girls showed a depth that critics could no longer ignore. However, love remains unresolved. Regina never married, a choice formed from caring for her mother for an extended period after she was diagnosed with scleroderma, a rare autoimmune disease. That responsibility reshaped her priorities, transforming solitude into strength rather than absence. Regina Hall, now 56, produces, acts in, and shapes projects through her own company. With an estimated net worth of around $6 million, her career is proof that a long-lasting career can develop quietly, without fanfare or compromise. Kyla Pratt as young Monica Wright. Kyla Pratt was born on September 16, 1986, in Los Angeles, California. At age 14, she played young Monica Wright, an ambitious version of Monica in her childhood, in the film Love and Basketball. Her performance brought emotional depth to the story, showing how ambition and love clashed long before adulthood. That intensity reflected a childhood devoted entirely to work. Acting came into her life very early, filling her schedule with auditions, film sets, and expectations, while most children were still figuring out who they were. At the same time, she appeared in television and film roles such as Dr. Dolittle and Dr. Dolittle 2, learning the profession at an age when rest was rare. As she grew older, her popularity only increased. Her voice acting for Penny Proud in The Proud Family made her a household name across generations, while One-on-One helped maintain her television fame. Success came quickly, but the transition from child star to adult actress brought pressure, forcing her to redefine herself in an industry that rarely waits. Her personal life, however, offered her a different kind of stability. Kyla began a long-term relationship with Danny Kirkpatrick in 2008, choosing stability away from the uncertainty of the spotlight. Later, motherhood reshaped her priorities and provided her with something solid to protect outside of her career. She welcomed two daughters, Lyric Kirkpatrick in 2010 and Leia Kirkpatrick in 2013. Now 40 years old, Kyla Pratt continues to act and voice the character Penny Proud in The Proud Family, her voice stronger and more confident than ever. With an estimated net worth of $3 million, her journey reflects maturity achieved through balance, not speed. Harry Lennix as Nathan Wright. Harry Lennix was born on November 16, 1964, in Chicago, Illinois, USA. At age 36, he played Nathan Wright, Monica's strict and emotionally detached father in Love and Basketball. His composure and authority heightened the emotional tension in the film, turning parental expectations into a silent enemy. That restraint had been formed from a very young age. Born and raised in a large working-class family in Chicago, Lennix learned to make an impression without raising his voice. That instinct was evident in his early roles in films like The Five Heartbeats and Get on the Bus, where presence was more important than dialogue and moral weight dominated every scene. Audiences gradually began to associate him with an image of authority. Baseball fans remember Pedro Serrano for his role in Major League, while television viewers later came to love him for his portrayal of David Palmer in 24. These roles brought recognition, but also narrowed expectations, often depicting him as a strong man rather than a weak one. At home, life was equally complicated. Lennix married Elena Sims in 1980, then Lynn Griffith in 1989, with whom he had 2 children, Charles and Catherine. Following those marriages, stability returned when he married business executive Jana Graves in 2009, a lasting relationship that has accompanied his long career. Today, Harry Lennix is 62 years old and continues to work regularly in film, television, theater, and voiceover. With an estimated net worth of around $4 million, his career reflects a calm, unassuming, unhurried, and always present demeanor. Glendon Chapman as young Quincy McCall. Glendon Chapman was born on May 17, 1986, in Los Angeles County, California. At age 14, he played a young Quincy McCall, a talented but conflicted young athlete, in the film Love and Basketball. His quiet performance conveyed the vulnerability hidden beneath his early blossoming talent, laying the groundwork for Quincy's future struggles. However, his on-screen presence showed a comfort in front of the camera at such a young age. His acting career began early, with roles in films like Eraser and Baby Geniuses, taking him to film sets where discipline was valued more than childhood routines. Unlike many of his peers, that momentum didn't lead to lasting fame. Roles remained limited, and opportunities dwindled, making the transition from childhood fame to adult stability uncertain. Instead of striving for continuity, he withdrew as the entertainment industry continued to evolve. This distance from fame shaped a quieter, more mature life. Without public relations or attention-grabbing choices, Glendon's life unfolds largely outside of the entertainment saga, unscrupulous but also unnoticed. Today, Glendon Chapman is 40 years old, with an estimated net worth of around $500,000. His story is a reminder that not every childhood role becomes a lifelong career, and that stepping back is sometimes the best way to survive.